Hello, epic hero. This is Hope Pennington, author and graphic novel artist of young adult sci-fi and fantasy. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know, or seen any of my videos, you know that I've just moved to Austin, Texas. Before that, I was living in Kerrville, Texas with my family. I had a brief few months in Washington. Before that, I've lived in Kerrville pretty much my whole life. Very small town, etc. This is not a Draw My Life. This is just a drawing that I decided to do for October, but I figured I would tell a bit about what I've been up to while I was at it. So, Inktober, which is when a lot of artist people in the month of October decide that they're going to draw something every single day, which is really, really neat. I think it helps them get the creative juices flowing, helps them stay creative, etc. I've always wanted to do Inktober, but I've never really found the time to complete it, or usually even start it. This month was no exception. Last October I was in the throes of moving. This October I was also in the throes of moving, as well as trying to figure my life out in Austin. It hasn't been easy at all. In fact, it's been pretty insane. One of the most insane times in my life, although the last couple of years of my life have been pretty insane. Ever since I got to Austin, one of the first things that happened was my sister Faith, who's graciously letting me stay with her, got into a car wreck. She was T-boned from the side and she had to go to the hospital, where she had to stay for several days, and as well as get surgery. She broke her pelvis and a few of her ribs, so it was really scary. And I had just learned to drive for the first time, so I was trying to navigate and figure out driving by myself in a new town, Austin, really, really busy, worrying about her and trying to do interviews at the same time. That moves into another thing that I wanted to talk about, which is jobs. I moved here thinking I definitely wanted to get a job in marketing because I'm artistic, and marketing seems like a really good way to get like a legit job while being an artist, or so I've heard. I interviewed while I was still in Kerrville for a bunch of different marketing jobs, all of which were going to be entry level. They were all pretty similar. They just wanted somebody who was willing to learn, and they were going to pretty much teach you to either be going door to door or going inside the store selling the items. That sounded really neat to me. You get a lot of free training, and although you're not making a ton more than you'd be making at any other like coffee shop job or something, hopefully there would be room for advancement in the future to manager, etc. I interviewed for a couple of these jobs really heavily. The interview process was really long, like 2 or 3 weeks, I think maybe 2 weeks. And then as I went through like 3 different types of interviews, and then 3 different segments of the interview. And then finally I was hired for a retail job called, I'm not going to say what it's called actually, because I feel like I shouldn't, but yeah, and it's going to be in stores and just sort of selling products like sheets, face washes, cleaners, those kinds of things. However, only about 5 days into the job, I started noticing something very disturbing to me. Basically, these kinds of jobs, which I don't know what I was expecting, but they want you to give your entire life into that job. They want you to work really, really hard, and everyone there was really inspiring by the way that they were working extremely hard and, really had no other life outside the job. No time for family, art, anything. And every day that I went, I just started feeling sick inside because I realized that they're saying what you had to be willing to do in order to make it at this job was basically put your entire life into the job. And that's just not something I'm willing to do. While it made me feel like a failure to say that I'm not willing to do this, it's really just not something I've ever been willing to do. I really care about my art, I really care about my books, and if I don't have the time to do that, that's a really important thing for me, and I just couldn't do it, so I knew it wasn't going to be a good fit. I ended up quitting and applying to a bunch of different places, coffee shops, etc., and focusing more towards online things. Besides all that going on at the same time, I dropped my phone on the first day of the job and broke it, which, it was a smartphone, an iPhone, and that was not only the way that I communicated with all of my friends, sorry, my head's in the way again, from, Kerrville and other places that I'd met, but also I ran my Instagram and my Facebook and my YouTube channel and all these things that had become a huge part of my life and a huge outlet. So I didn't have any access anymore to any of that stuff. Plus, no way to contact my parents, or who are a huge help for me, being in this town and everything on my own. So it was a lot of just bit of a scary time. I was coming home one time. I stopped at a gas station to fill up with gas. And after I filled up, the car starts making weird noises and I panic, call my dad, we can't figure it out, drive home. The next day it won't start. What we eventually figure out is that I've put diesel in my engine, which can destroy an engine. So I was very lucky that all I had to do was go get some more, get my roommate to help me go get some gasoline, fill it up, and sort of fix it. Because we were able to dilute it with the gasoline, it didn't end up ruining the car, but it definitely could have. And it was very discouraging for me. Cost a lot of money to fix that, and a lot of money to get all the professional clothes for my job. And now so broken phone, car almost wrecked. So I'm going exploring different interviews and things in the area, and I drive all the way down to Georgetown to check out a really cool community theater there. Meanwhile, it starts getting late while I'm there, and I start to go and get back in my car to go back home, and I find out that I have locked myself out of my car in Georgetown with no phone that's working, no way to contact anybody, and completely just lost and locked in my car. I finally found this really nice lady working in this wine place that helped me use her phone and her Facebook to contact my family. We were able to contact my brother who was in the area, come by and pick me up, but I felt so stupid having to get all these people's help. My mom was really encouraging in all this because I was being really discouraged both about the job and about, making all these mistakes with my car. She was just saying, this is one of the first times that I've been out on my own, and everybody makes these kind of mistakes, just maybe not within a couple days of each other like I did. And I've chosen to see it as a growing experience. I have to learn these things at some point, so at least I'm getting them out all at the same time, as opposed to having them drag out. This is definitely going to be an interesting part of my life, and a lot of me, besides just not having a phone and not being able to, didn't really want to journal this part of my life, because I'm like, this is really messy. But then I started thinking about all the vloggers, the video bloggers that I really like. Daniel J. Layton, Hazel Hayes, Dodie Clark, Evan Edinger. And these people, they journal the messiest parts of their lives. We're in our early 20s. This is one of the craziest parts of our life. We're trying to figure out who we are. It's scary, it's weird, but I love how honest they are in their videos, talking about the journey and the struggle and all of it. They don't have it figured out. That's not the point. The point is that you're watching them as they're going through this amazingly hectic, crazy, awesome part in their life, and how they figure it out, and how they start coming into themselves, and you get to watch the journey. And when they do figure out something about who they are and what they're going to do, it's like you come along that part of the journey with them. And so I realized how crazy of me for not wanting to show you guys this part of my life, and show me, future me, this part of my life, the important stuff, the mess, and the overcoming it. I certainly have never really full-on adulted before, even though I'm 23 years old, because I have my identification stuff and living with my parents for most of my life. So this almost feels like, teenaging again for how teenaging is for a lot of people. But at the same time, I know a lot of 10-year-olds are going through this stuff, and this is a crazy journey for all of us. Anyway, especially as the entrepreneur-y stuff goes, I've always wanted to sort of find more of a job and full-time job online with my art, with my comics, and with my writing, as well as, social media and selling products that I like. When I was in the office just feeling really down about how much time and how much of your soul they want out of you in these marketing places, I started realizing they're asking you to work this hard, this crazy every day to sell something you don't even care about, surely you can work that hard and sell something that you do care about. Whether that be, these stories that I write that I believe will impact people, or whether that be, something like essential oils that I feel like are really good for you, or whether that be somebody else's book that I feel like has a really good message, or even if it's, some kind of bag or adventure bag or something that I actually think is really cool, or one of your adventure novels, something that I actually feel like impacts people's lives. If I can work hard and sell something that I don't care about, and that really works, then surely I can work the same amount hard and hustle and sell things that I do care about. Thank you so much for watching my journey. And by the way, what I'm drawing right now is actually, I got this challenge on Instagram for reaching 8,000. I said I was going to draw whatever they requested of me, and I got a few requests, one of which was to draw a elephant-sized puppy, one of which was to draw a cat, and one of which was to draw Halloween stuff, and another one to draw people trying to do Inktober. So I decided to draw a cat trying to do Inktober, surrounded by Halloween decorations while painting or inking an elephant-sized puppy. Thank you so much for watching, and until we talk again, always remember that we are epic heroes today and every day of our lives. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.